All right. Now, for your bench setup, you're going to want to get a peak in your back from the mid back down to the lower back off of the bench. So, to achieve that, there's a few different ways to contort your body, if you will, to get into those positions. Now, one way or a couple ways you can do it is to use your upper body. I'll show you my setup personally. It's a bit wonky, but it's what's worked for me for several years now, so I stick to it. That being said, for people just figuring out their arch and how to set up themselves comfortably on bench, these two or a few variations will go a long way. The first one I'll show you is using the upper body in the squat rack or combo rack or bench press rack that you are currently using. Every bench press rack that you do your bench on will have somewhat of a beam to where the rack is attached and the bar is sitting. So you'll always have this availability to utilize this specific format to peak your back. So what you want to do, get into a flat lying position in which your eyes are about directly underneath the bar. Now for my setup, so that I can get my ultimate arch, I do a little bit of a swing back, which is totally a good mentality. I place my feet in the right position, and from here, I'm going to go back to the bottom of the bench, slide myself forward as I push my hips up before I unrack the bar, and now I have a nice arch in my back, meaning my low back and my mid back are basically no longer touching the bench. So, one of the ways, you can grab both sides of your bench press rack that you're doing your bench on. Place your feet comfortably towards the base of the bench and a little bit spread wide so you can get extra push from your legs during your press. From there, you're going to grab both sides, palm on the side of the rack that you're on, and you're basically going to shrimp your body, make yourself feel like an accordion as you bring your upper body down further down the bench. So here, I'm going to push. I actually lift my traps off the bench when I do that. And now I'm in a great position to where my traps are directly on the bench. And all I have to do is initiate or reignite or reinitiate your drive with your legs to get your traps really dug under and really get that nice peak in your mid and low back. So from here, I would just use my legs to finish the rest of the setup, in which I'm going to hike my hips off the ground. Now I have a great leg drive. I unrack the bench while I'm still up in the air, touch my glutes down to the bench, and from here, I'm going to continue having that same leg drive, driving my traps into the bench as I do my presses. Simple enough, easy to do. Anyone can try it that way. So, what they'll do is same as the last. You lie down, your eyes are under the bar. This is also where you want to end your setup. If the bar is going to be forward on the rack, if you have a big J hook, just initiate a little bit lower. Now, how to use your feet to set up a crazy arch or just an arch in general. You put your heels and your feet on the bottom of the bench, and you're going to hike up so that you can push your traps into the bench. And from here, what you would do is keep this driving. Find your foot placement to where you can keep this driving. Last foot down, keep it driving. And then finally, once you're in the right position, unrack the weight, touch the hips down just so the glutes are touching the bench, and then perform your bench press. As you can see, it wasn't nearly as much of an arch as I created in the other formats of creating your arch. So this one I find to be less useful. However, some people like it mentally. So it helps them get in the rhythm for their bench press.